Well, hell of a day. A lot of baseball, a lot of action, and to be able to come out and win that final game was huge for our team. Really gritty win after being here all day, some things not going our way. What Bassinger did was special. Like, what a beautiful performance from a guy to go 7 innings, 2 runs, and win that ball game on 86 pitches. A relief pitcher is just incredible. I mean, I want to cry thinking about how much that guy poured his heart and soul out on the mound for the Mountaineers today.
So how hard is that, especially coming in cold? I mean, relievers get a little time to warm up normally, and you sort of know you're coming, and this one just bang, let's go. How difficult is that?
For most, I think it's the anticipation that everybody's waiting on you to enter the game because Gavin Van Kimpen was hurt, and so who's up? We choose to go to Bassinger in that moment because we thought he would handle it so well. He's also been stretched out previously before pitch count and had success doing that. The last time I remember was Ohio State, specifically that he was able to get into that 60 or 70 pitch mark. But for him, he took a long time in the bullpen, so he wasn't worried about, oh, the crowd's waiting, the umpires are waiting, the players are waiting. He probably took 10 or 15 minutes, and the rule is you can take as much time as you want. Once you cross the line, you have 2 minutes and 30 seconds, just like you were a reliever coming into the game. So we just knew it was the right guy because he wasn't concerned about anything but preparing himself to win the game, and so that's exactly what he went and did.
So did it take longer, shorter than you expected for your first career ejection?
Yeah, I take pride in that not happening. I don't like that I was ejected, so that's my fault. That's not the standard that I want to set for our guys. Whether I agree or not with the call, that doesn't even matter. Whether I agree or not with the ejection or how it happened, that doesn't matter either. I think the artificial energy is a negative thing for the team. We preach focusing on ourselves and what we're doing and competing in the moment. And so to get outside of that is a bad example for our team. And so I'll definitely take the loss on the first game. And that doesn't mean, like I said, I agree with anything that happened today. I actually strongly disagree with it. However, it doesn't help our team. So what I did didn't benefit the team.
With that said, so the next game comes around, and then Skyler, tops it or fought him in the first inning again, and he goes through his incident. What's going? I mean, what goes through your mind on that? I mean, you're running down there. I'm wondering if you're thinking about, hey, I'm going to argue and get ejected again, or what?
Yeah, exactly. At that point, there was a lot of points during the last 6 hours where I had to make a very conscious decision to not open my mouth. And this probably needs to be one of those too. But leadership matters, and how we go about our business matters. And an example had been set, and Skylar King got ejected the first batter of the second game. So there's no one to blame other than myself on that one.
How did you, in the first game when you're sitting in the locker room, coach's on, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm sitting at a table in the coach's locker room watching the ball game, playing the game, looking at the hitting, the matchups, the pitching, sweating it out. So much worse not being on the field. Yeah.
Any idea of Van Kempen's injury status?
None at this point. Shoulder is what he kind of pointed to, but I haven't been updated on that one yet. Which on the pitching side, sorry, that's usually a better thing than an elbow.
Getting back to Reese, some of his games lately hadn't been as effective. Did you notice signs earlier in this game that he was going to not only be able to give you length, but the performance that he did?
It was really interesting today. It'd been shorter outings, his last 4 outings. He pitched Friday at UCF, Saturday at UCF, and Wednesday. They're all under 40 pitches. Some had been successful, some hadn't. I felt really good about the game being canceled yesterday because the Thursday and the Friday off, I thought we'd have a chance to reset Bassinger. His last outing, Bassinger's so mature. he said, I was really working on pitches in the bullpen. I needed to clean up my changeup. I needed to get my repertoire a little bit better, and I think I lost focus of competing, and that's really what I bring to the table. As a senior guy with a lower arm slot, what I do better than anybody else is compete. He doesn't throw harder than anybody else. He doesn't have nastier stuff than everybody else. He has great stuff, but he outcompetes everybody and commands. And so for him to kind of identify that and speak to me about it, I just felt good in the headspace that he was in today. And so there were some opportunities where we could potentially make some changes and didn't. And there's so much gut involved with that pitching change stuff and the game in general. But the gut was, we have these great relievers sitting in the bullpen, especially guys that we've gone to a lot in Estridge and Meyer. And so we feel good about those. But in my gut, I just kept going, I like Bassinger, I like Bassinger, I like Bassinger. And we ended up sticking with him through the whole thing in his longest outing of the year by far.
Coach, when you kind of consider the big picture, obviously the Penn State game, the weird games against UCF, the Marshall game, Reese obviously gets credited with the win tonight, but ultimately, does he kind of get a save to?
Yeah, what's that category? We've had a few of those guys. We call it in recruiting players that are able to have long saves, and we work towards those guys because we've seen that with Meyer for 5 innings. We've seen it with Estridge for 3. We've seen it with Reese Bassinger for 7. And so it's that ability of really good in the moment. So the long closer for us can be so valuable, and we explained this to Chase Meyer a little bit throughout the years. It's just if you're able to get out of a jam and finish the game, it's like a starter that came in the most leveraged situation in the game. It wasn't nobody on, nobody out, 1 o'clock. It wasn't a calm scenario. So like sometimes that bullpen or that long closer mentality we talk about, we try to recruit that.
I guess meaning more to the point that, this could have been a very pivotal moment to the season with what he pulled off.
That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bear hugged the guy at the end of the game, and every game is that way. So I don't want to overemphasize a game. It just felt like how things had gone from the very first inning. That this was one of those games where a weaker mentality team could have said, "This isn't our day. We got screwed. The umpire didn't treat us right. The calls weren't right. We got ejected." Player got ejected. There's so many areas where a weaker team could have cashed it in as a bad Saturday after rain delays and lightning and everything else. And so for me, just extremely proud of the mentality. And if you have the mentality, we have the talent. Like the talent will come around, we'll hit, we'll pitch, we'll defend. And any given day you may do all those things or do none of them. But if we can hold on to that mentality, we have a shot. So this is one of those games that I might be more proud of than any game that we've had.
You said you kept saying, keep going with Reese, keep going with Reese. Was there a moment in your mind, circumstance, you go, oh, maybe this is the time to go? That's got to be the second guess of all coaches, right?
That's right. Their guy, Logan Hughes, has over 20 extra base hits. He's their guy. He's a left-handed power hitter that started the 9th inning, and we must have thrown 3, 4, 5 off-speed pitches in a row. Bassinger throws a sinker. He swings uphill, is left-handed. His bat path matches the plane of how he pitches, so it's not a great matchup. And so in that moment, you have a decision to make. Are you going to let Logan Hughes tie the game potentially on a guy that's in his longest outing of the season? That's not a traditional great matchup. And the answer was, this guy's got more confidence, moxie, savvy than anybody currently. So throw the numbers and throw the matchup out the window and trust Reese there.
Might have been one of the biggest days for Gavin in terms of adversity. How do you feel? Gavin Keller, sorry.
Yeah, I think he did well. There's been ups and downs, and I think today will be an opportunity for him to grow from what happened. And at the end of the game, I love how in tune you guys are with what's going on, because it's just true. Things have been relatively easy for the freshmen. Like usually you eat a sandwich when you're a freshman occasionally, and he hasn't done that much, but he said he flipped his mentality. from playing defense on defense to playing offense. As far as hit me the ball, I want to turn this thing. I just spoke to him. I just said, why do you think you stayed in the game? I didn't pull you after the mess on defense that you were today. He's like, I don't know why. And I said, because you're the best option. He's like, oh. And I said, even when you were in a bad spot, you're a superstar. So if you don't figure it out now, you need to figure it out tomorrow. If you don't figure it out tomorrow, you need to figure it out the next day. And so I can either leave you in there and have you figure it out and you get really good, or we can just take a superstar out of the lineup and our team gets worse. So it doesn't make any sense. And so I said, even though you thought you had your worst day defensively of your career, you turned 2 double plays that ended up winning the game. And there's nobody that turns a double play better. There's nobody that has a better arm and can do that. And so even on his worst day, he helped us win a very important game.
Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.